So while it was jacked up, I went ahead and I grabbed the tire, and you can see it's got some play in it.
Oof.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Limitless Racing. So as you can see, we got the car jacked up on jack stands right now because we're putting some more parts onto it, because I was driving down the road and I realized I had a lot of sway going on in the back, and I figured it was because of the new slicks, but it was acting really funny. It didn't do it the first couple days, and it started getting worse after I was testing the car. So while it was jacked up, I went ahead and I grabbed the tire, and you can see got some play in it.
Oof.
So I crawled underneath and I found out that the rear tie rods, or as Chevy wants to call them, the rear suspension links, were bad. So I could replace them with stock ones, which are hard to find, and from GM they are $100 just for the inner, because it's the same thing as your front, it's the inner and outer. And I needed the inner, it's over $100 for one, so $200 to replace both rears. So instead of spending $200 just to get the two inner tie rods, factory ones that will go bad again, I went ahead and bought some fancy ones. I bought these guys from LG Motorsports. They are the inner and the outer, and they are monoball instead of the regular ball joints. And it also is the bump steer kit, so I can set all that up too. These things should make everything nice and solid. Then the other thing I got too are some QA1 double adjustable shocks. These are just the fronts that I have now. The rears are coming in tomorrow, waiting for them to come in from the manufacturer. Summit had the fronts in stock, but not the rears. So it should be easy enough just to take the old tie rods out, pop the new ones in. Sadly, it's not. The old tie rods, it's literally just the inner is just a thread that goes in, and there's a nut on the back. The new ones still have the same thing. It's the thread that goes through, nut goes in the back, tightens it down, but they also have the extra support of this bolt and nut that go through it. So what I have to do is I have to drop the rear cradle out, and I have to drill a hole through the actual cradle, the rear subframe, to accept that nut and bolt. So we're going to go ahead and drop the cradle out, get all that out of the car, line everything up, mark the hole, got to drill through it with a 5/16 drill bits to get the right size for the nut to go through, or the bolt to go through, and then I can put those in. And then tomorrow I'll go get my alignment, and then sometime tomorrow, once the shocks come in, if the weather holds up, then I'll go ahead and install the rear shocks as well, because we're putting the fronts on today too. So we're going to go ahead and start getting everything out of here, disconnect everything from the hubs. So let's get to it.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so we went ahead, got the axle out, got the rear tie rods out, got the upper ball joint out for the knuckle on both sides. So we should be good to go to drop the subframe. All the wiring harnesses that go to the speed sensors, the ground, and the rear light control is all tucked up and out of the way. So we should be good to start lowering it. Trans and diff is already mounted up, or supported up. Only thing left I gotta do is just take out the two bolts on the bottom of the differential mount. Everything's disconnected. We got everything propped up on the jacks right now. We're going to go ahead and start trying to lower it down to make sure there's no problems. Make sure everything clears. Go ahead a little bit, very slowly. Make sure the roof all stays up. Oh, this is like a block there. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, it is? Alright. I totally believe you.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Okay, it's out.
Okay.
Oh. Watch your head. Come on, try to pull these off for me. Alright, so subframe is now out of the car. Now all I gotta do is take these old rear ball joints out. You see how there's no play, no tightness in that at all. Okay, gotta take those off, just the one nut on the back. And then I have to put the new brackets on. That bolted in right there with that. And then this back piece, I gotta mark it and drill it out so that new bolt can go through. Probably about a half hour or so of drilling out the holes in the back. I finally got everything mounted up in there, everything tightened and good to go on both sides. So now the only thing left to do is to get all this back inside the car, and then once it's inside the car, rerun all these wires, get all these wires back in, and then hooked up, everything bolted back in, and then tomorrow I get the alignment done. Everything is now installed, the new tie rod is in. I tried to align it the best I could by eye, and I guarantee you it is screwed up. So tomorrow I'm actually going to go get an alignment done as well. But these things are solid. No movement at all. Alright guys, so the rears are back on. I did the best alignment I could by eye. Guarantee I go tomorrow and it's going to be all jacked up. But we'll get up there and get it aligned. So now we are going to go ahead and replace... Can't see a damn thing in there, but replace that shock. Alright, so the QA1s, new ones, come with the new rubbers and seats. The seat in the Corvette in the fronts are really nice and they fit into the shock tower perfectly. So the way I do it, I use just the seat itself, and this goes against that rubber. And then I put the old seat on top because that actually fits right on the rubber itself. And then of course use the new nut and lock nut. So this one, you just put it up in here, push the threads through, and just like that, the top part's mounted. All you gotta do is put those nuts on. For the bottom, you're gonna pull this down so it lines up with your holes. But now, there's a big gap. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I can put my finger underneath. Gotta jack up on the bottom of the lead spring, press the lead spring a little bit until this sits flush with the control arm. Once it sits flush with the control arm, you go ahead and throw your bolts back in, tighten up the nuts on the bottom, and you just installed yourself some double adjustable QA1 shocks. Don't forget to read the instructions on the back of the QA1, on the instructions of the QA1s. It tells you how to set your starting points of your compression and rebound. If you're street driving, drag racing, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to show you guys that part because it's literally just turning a knob, and pretty sure if you're installing these, you know how to turn a knob. Well, let's go ahead and finish this up, and once it's all done, I'll get back on the camera and let you know what's going on. Alright guys, we got the carpet back together, we got it back on 4 wheels. These shocks are now done. Well, the front shocks are, and the rear tie rods are on. I'm going to get alignment right now. And then, well, first I'm going home and I'm putting my real tires on. You can see how stiff this is now. It doesn't even move when I'm pushing on it. But the rebound is set to almost nothing. So that should help transfer the weight to the rear. So we're going to go ahead and drive to my house real quick. We're going to go ahead and put the front tires back on, get rid of these skinnies real quick, and go get the alignment done. So, I'll see you when we get there. Alright, so just got done the alignments. Let's just say the toe was a little messed up in the rear. This one not so much, not the left side, but the right side, negative 2.2. That was a little bad. Negative 0.5, not too bad. But my guys here at Mission Tire, they got it down pretty good. We got down 0.01 right side, 0.02 left side. Should be good to go now. The only problem is with the front, we do have the caster and the camber's a little off, but that's not a big deal because I'm going in a straight line. So we're going to go ahead and head back to the shop, head back to the garage, and wait for the front rear shocks to come in. Then we can put those on and probably go testing tonight. All right, we'll see you when we get back to the garage.